Good afternoon. Say it with me one more time. Good afternoon. Cool, thank you. So we're going to do something a little different today, and today's talk is 2 billion players, how not to panic and instead be mindful. So I think this is a little different than most IGDC talks or GDC talks that I've ever been to, but some stuff that I think we've actually started to practice in our company, which I think has made us stronger, better, and less stressed. So I think it really helps. So we're going to do something. If you can please trust me for 1 second. We're going to do a mindfulness breathing activity, but first, show of hands. Who practices mindfulness? Okay, some hands. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to breathe out, and then I'm going to ask all of you to do that with me 3 times. Ready? So I'm going to start with a deep breath, and it's a loud breathe out, as loud as you can. Ready? So I'll do it first. So let's all do that together 3 times. Ready? 1. How do you feel? A little better? A little bit more present? A little less stressed? So now a show of hands, who's practiced mindfulness? Should be everybody. It's pretty much what mindfulness is. So we have a cool presentation today with a few fun things, but thought I would show this. First quick question here is, a lot of people may be asking, what is mindfulness in video games? And we'll explain that in a second. But for fun, I thought I would show one of the first images of Temple Run. This was the original concept art for Temple Run. Temple Run was first really just a game mechanic. How do we make this game? We had just a bunch of gray boxes and circles and squares, and we knew that this motion would be fun, and it would be fun in a running game, but we had to make it cool, and we wanted to make an adventure game. So these were the first 3 panels of the concept art. So it's pretty cool, pretty fun. So here's some cool stats. So 2 billion players over 2 games, Temple Run and Temple Run 2. It's huge, right? These numbers are even outdated. But 50 trillion meters run, that's pretty much to the sun and back 160 times. 147 trillion gold coins. If we could only have a little bit of that in real gold coins, that would be nice, right? 32 billion deaths. The top 3 ways to die: falling, collision, and of course the demon monkey catching you. 140 million save me's used. So one thing I want us to think about in the video game industry, for those of you who are developers, we're not that different from other businesses. So I kind of wanted to put this out there, and I've shown this to my team before. As video game developers, what do we have in common with a bakery, a bank, a construction site? So just think about that for a second. What do we have in common with a bakery, a bank, and a construction site? A lot of the same stresses: new regulations, employee issues, technology changes, material issues, changing scope. We all deal with a lot of the same issues and a lot of things to panic about. And mindfulness can really help. It can help us slow us down. It can help us make better decisions and execute better at our jobs. So there's been a lot of studies that mindfulness can help out in all of these industries. And it's nice to think sometimes a lot of the stresses that we have in video game development aren't all that different from other businesses as well. So I'm going to admit something, and we're going to be vulnerable here as a company. Believe it or not, we've made mistakes as a company. And I'm going to tell you about a few of them and tell you how we panicked once or twice, but how we've learned not to panic. And I'll tell you, for those of you who have made mistakes in your own companies, we all make mistakes. And if any company or any person tells you they've never made a mistake, they're lying. We all make them. So I know there was a show of hands. A lot of people here have played Temple Run. Can I see them again? Who here has played Temple Run at least once? Cool, that's great to see. It looks like this, right? It doesn't look like this. So we had a bug that was shipped out that actually reversed the image on people who were playing after their first run. It basically was a gyroscope lock issue with a Unity bug that we did not discover until the last minute. But our QA team panicked. I think we had 5 hours until a major featuring that was going to happen, and it was upside down for at least, I think it was 10% of our player base. So our QA manager freaked out. Some other people were freaking out, and how are we going to solve this complex issue? We had everybody slow down. We didn't do the deep breathing at the time, but we had everybody slow down. We analyzed how many people was this reaching, what were the potential solutions that we could get there. We found a quick solution was we basically just did a lock on it, so you couldn't rotate the phone at all, and that worked for that short period. And then we had a better solution in place. But we've made other decisions in the past where we really rush into them and we panic and we pull out a quick hot fix, and then we only have to fix that hot fix 2 days later because it really did not solve the full issue. So again, this was an example of slow down, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. That is a core element of mindfulness, is to slow down and really look at the situation, because again, this isn't good and we don't want to ship a game that's upside down. Even if you're not into video games, you know not to ship a game that's upside down. Another one we had, and this is what we call a red screen of death. We have a system in our game that sends out new content. We call it the promo system. And the promo system is how we deliver new maps, new characters, new artifact systems that you collect. But it's really, really delicate and sometimes makes mistakes out there, but we can't quite predict how it'll work. And we didn't really have a good triage system, so we just know sometimes a mistake would happen, or something would get shipped out wrong, or it would cause a crash on somebody's device. Now, we would, in the past, panic about this. We wouldn't really realize how many people it was affecting, and we would make bad decisions about that. But again, as a company, we started to slow ourselves down, started to think about how much of the population is this affecting. Is there a quick solution to fix this, or should we slow down and have a better approach? And that's really helped us make some better decisions within our company. Lastly, borrowed this image from the Matrix, but we had an interesting deal that we had with a major phone carrier that we were going to do a coin redemption offering. So if you bought one of their new phones, you would get X amount of coins within Temple Run, and it was to be coordinated with a worldwide launch of this flagship device. And it's a very complicated, many multifaceted, moving deal. We were in national commercials all over. We had exclusive content, and we had it all working until about 12 hours before this worldwide launch. Their back-end engineering team calls us and told us, even though we followed every single thing they told us to do, they changed their system at the last minute, and therefore we had to as well. So we had 3 teams across 3 different time zones with 12 hours to go with a major launch on this, a major worldwide launch, to try to fix this issue. So we tried to act mindfully. We slowed down, took our time, and we tried to fix it. And we came up with a solution, but it would actually take a day and a half to implement. So we were not able to actually have that on launch. It did take a day and a half, 2 days to be fully launched out, to have those coins that were redeemable, but it was okay. We had a good marketing message that let fans understand that they could get those coins. They just couldn't use them for 2 days, and ended up working just fine. But you could see there's a little sense of panic that we were gonna mess this deal and we were gonna miss it, and it was very scary. But we slowed ourselves down, and it ended up being okay. So I would just encourage those of you that if you make mistakes or have these sense of panic and you're like, but you don't understand what it's like for me and our company because everything is on the line and this is a make or break decision, sometimes it's actually not. So just slow yourself down, do the deep breathing exercise that we worked on earlier in the presentation, and it will probably be okay. So you may be asking yourself, mindfulness in video games again, do we actually practice this within our company? And I told you we used that breathing exercise and gave you a few examples, but wanted to let you know that we do, and even our demon monkey here practices some yoga, which is, again, somewhat of a form of mindfulness. But we also hired a mindfulness coach. So this is Lucy House. She's a mindfulness coach. She's worked with several software companies, IBM, Red Hat, Oracle, and she came into our company and would come in every single week and would come in during the lunchtime on Thursdays, and she would teach us different mindfulness techniques. We learned about appreciation and gratitude. So appreciation and gratitude lists are very great if you've ever done this before. Basically, you wake up each morning and you write 3 things that you're grateful for. It's actually scientifically proven to create a higher mood elevation and reduce depression in people. And then she's also helped us work on things like observational awareness. So really looking at your environment and taking breaks from work. So if you're really working hard for an hour, 2 hours, take a 5-minute walk outside, look at a tree, listen to some birds. Very, very relaxing. We also have a little treat for you that I actually was able to get some video of one of our mindfulness class sessions. So if we want to play the video.
You feel like you were always running, always chasing the prize. But you are the prize. Center yourself and find the prize that is you.
So, not really one of our mindfulness videos, but a video campaign that we created a little bit ago, but still has some mindfulness techniques in there, and it's kind of funny, so I thought you'd appreciate it. We have some other funny videos that'll be coming in just a little bit. But some of the mindfulness benefits you can see here, this is a study out of Berkeley, out in California, 91% reported positivity impacted the culture, 88% would recommend it to a coworker, 66% said it made them less stressed. There is some really hard science behind this, and a lot of companies, Apple and Google, actually actively practice it within their companies as well. And so we're firm believers in it. And you don't have to do it necessarily every single day in every single meeting and every single interaction, but if it becomes a part of your culture, I do believe that it can help improve your culture and productivity within your business. So here's another quick little video.
Exhale, snuggle the shoulder underneath, and inhale, extend the leg towards the ceiling. Exhale. Nailing it.
So this one right here shows a little bit too, that when you try these mindfulness techniques, sometimes you may get interrupted, right? Sometimes you may try to calm yourself down, but then you hear car horns outside, or somebody knocks on your window, or a message beeps. It's okay. Don't consider that a failure. You can just go back again and try again. So don't give up. Just go back to it. So what is mindfulness? I've talked a lot about this. You've heard me say slow down. You've heard me say take your time. But most of all, mindfulness is awareness. Be aware of yourself, aware of your environment, aware of your colleagues that are working with you. Be aware. It's also taking time. Slow down. A lot of life right now and a lot of mobile gaming and video game generation overall is fast, fast, fast. We have to have updates. We have to get out. We have to get featuring. We have a crash. We need to fix it now. But sometimes those time constraints that we're putting on ourselves are really just artificial and a sense of anxiety that we have, that we feel that we have to meet them. But many times, again, you've heard me say multiple times here that if we slow down and take our time, we will make better decisions. I also would encourage those of you who are hearing this today, think about how mindfulness not only can work in the professional space, but also at home. I think it can really help us out with our family stress and letting work stay at work and really be helpful there. So think about all of these techniques that can also be used for yourself at home as well. One thing that I think would be very helpful is to think about some actionable techniques here of how can you actually use mindfulness in your workplace. What if your workplace isn't open to this? Well, you can do these little steps here. So the first one is you can start your meetings with a deep breathing exercise, which we all did today. And Eve, one of our senior producers for Temple Run and Temple Run 2, will tell you that I start many of my meetings with her, especially if we have some things that are not going to schedule, with some mindfulness breathing. It really helps reset us, and it really helps us take our time and makes us not rush into any bad decisions. Become comfortable with uncertainty. There's many things that we cannot change and will happen, and we just have to be okay with that. Slow down, like I said before. Accept what you can't change. Why bother worrying about it if there's nothing that we can do? A lot of our worrying is about things that we will never be able to impact, whether it's at work, whether it's with our player base, or whether it's in our personal lives. Take a break, non-screen time specifically. Take a walk, talk to a colleague, maybe just sit in a chair, maybe contemplate something. Really have some time for your mind to relax. Be consciously present. That means no cell phones in meetings, no screen time, just really concentrate on what you're trying to do there. And we have a no phone rule in our meetings because many times when we have them, if everybody's looking at their phones, why should they even be there in the first place? So that's a good one that's pretty easy to implement and can really make also too your meetings will go a lot faster if not everybody is looking at their phones. Finally, start your day, like I mentioned before, with a gratitude list. What are 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for? It's not too hard to at least find 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for. And if you make that into a habit and you repeat that over time, it can really, really change your outlook. I really suggest doing it at the beginning of the day versus the end of the day, but either would work. So we have another fun little video here for you. This is our last video. This was a series of videos we called A Day in the Life of the Demon Monkey. And it was supposed to be a behind-the-scenes look of when the demon monkey is not chasing you in Temple Run, what is he doing? He's just like all of us, trying to live a normal life. So here's a few of the activities that he does day to day. Any of those activities surprise anyone? No, he has to do everything that pretty much that we do as well. So, want to spend a couple of minutes here just telling you guys a little bit about what's coming up in our future. So in Temple Run 2, we, at this point, you may not realize that we actually have 15 fantastic, unique maps, 22 diverse characters, and a strong community that's hungry for more content. We actually had our Holly map that came out early this year. Have any of you played that version, the Holly map celebration? It was really cool, came out early in the year, and we have a big update coming out in 4 days, which is Holiday Havoc, which is our Christmas release, where Santa Claus is actually kidnapped by a dragon, and you have to run to rescue him. So there's some unique narrative storytelling missions in that, and we're expecting pretty big featuring from both Google and Apple, so be on the lookout. Should be fully released in 4 days. This is a cool little collage showing all of the different maps that we have out right now. And here's a quick little preview of Holiday Havoc with the new map, a Ring of Fire challenge, and the runner that saved Christmas again, which is where you as the runner get to help save Santa Claus from the dragon. And I've realized that I've actually talked pretty fast in this. So I wanted to show you really quick the dev team behind Temple Run 2. And this is pretty much what we wear to the office every single day. This is a unique dress code. It's not. This was our Halloween party, so this was a costume contest. But this is our dev team. So this is the team that helps create all of the content that you see and play. And we're based in Raleigh, North Carolina in the US. Thank you very much. And for everybody that wants, we have Temple Run stickers and some keychains up here in the front. So we have a bunch, so feel free to grab them. And
Great.
Thank you. Yep.
Great. Thank you so much, Walter. Thank you so much for coming to India.